Hello, Michael Mills, your candidate for New York Senate 54. It's been a great summer. There have been tons of activities, including parades, rallies, marches. As someone who's written a book on civic participation and studied social movements in graduate school, those give people a great opportunity to make their voices heard in lots of unique ways. And so civic engagement should have a spectrum of ways to get people active and out. But actually, I also wanted to take a second to point out that showing up for parades and rallies, while important, is not enough to be your New York State Senator. We need a senator, when elected in fall of 2026, to hit the ground running in Albany and to have legislative ideas, to have experience passing legislation, and to build relationships. And I am that candidate, and I am that person. And I just wanted to give you a couple quick snapshots. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've spent my entire career working for communications firms, running nonprofits, now the last 11 years owning my own communications consulting firm, and it's all almost exclusively been focused around public policy. And so let me just give you a couple examples. One of my first experience was in 2000. The city of Atlanta was under $1 million fine consent decree with the federal government for failing to meet standards for their water quality and quantity. I was part of a group with the Metro Atlanta Chamber and others, and I was on a team leading public affairs for that, where we studied the issue. How do we solve the infrastructure challenges, the access to water challenges? And we created legislation for a planning district. It was called the North Metro Water Planning District. And we created awareness and advocated for it at the state capitol, and it became law. And it is a function entity that manages water quality and quantity across one of the fastest growing regions in America. Similarly, I led a trade association in the electronics industry space that created the first electronic signatures legislation at the state level. Prior to this legislation, you had to sign physically, pen to paper, things like mortgages, credit card statements, and this bill enabled the things you do today, where you get a document sent to you from a mortgage lender and you just sign it electronically. Restaurants to pay. You can check into a hotel on an electronic reader. These are all things that were made possible by America's first electronic signatures bill, and then it became the model for the federal legislation that passed shortly thereafter. I also, obviously, as an elected member of Canandaigua City Council, pass ordinances and laws every day and budgets that impact the way people live. Are we having safe streets? Are we having trash collected? Do we have the right infrastructure for clean water, for sanitary systems that take our wastewater away and protect our lake? So those are things I do on a daily basis. And let me leave you with two more. I was president of the Southeast Energy Efficiency Alliance. It was a nonprofit covering 11 states in the Southeast plus the Virgin Islands. And we received a $21 million federal grant to create an energy efficiency marketplace across the Southeast. So it's not just legislation, it's also programs that change people's lives. And through this funding and through the programming, we would very often partner with nonprofits and communities and help retrofit low-income homes so that they had more efficient washers and dryers and windows and other appliances that lowered their bills. So it made their homes more energy efficient, it made them more comfortable, and it made them more financially free because they had these great upgrades to their homes. And the last one I want to leave you with is this past year, I led an international trade delegation to Ireland, the Republic, and Northern Ireland to create collaboration between universities around the payments and fintech spaces, so international exchanges between universities, and some agreements between some organizations that were looking to do international trade deals, bringing jobs to America, bringing companies to Ireland. And so I have worked for 30 years at the state, federal, and local level to pass legislation to create programs that better our lives. Come November 2026, we need a voice in Albany because right now, like it or not, we have a Republican who represents us in the Senate, and they do not get access to the decisions that are made in Albany because of the jersey they wear. So you can like that or not, but that's the reality. It's one of the reasons we need to elect a Democrat, but more importantly, we need a Democrat with the experience to hit the ground running in day one, to advocate and pass legislation, create budget line items that impact our lives in New York Senate 54. I am Michael Mills. I am that candidate, and we rise together. Thank you.